Hi. So welcome to lesson number 2, module 8 of the Big Data and Hadoop Developer course. So in this particular lesson, we will be learning how to work with Scoop. We will be exactly learning the working of Scoop, how it basically imports the data. So before we proceed with the lesson, let's have a quick recap of the previous lesson. So in the previous lesson, we have learned the need for Scoop and the basic concepts. So in this lesson, we will learn how Scoop exactly works and what are Scoop connectors and drivers and how the Scoop import works. So let's exactly understand how this is working, how Scoop is working, right? So Scoop by default comes with built-in pluggable connector mechanism for optimal connectivity to external system. Now it also has an extension application programming interface. Using this, you can build new connectors to support various systems. Now, the point here is that whenever you want to connect to an RDBMS, you need a compatible connector. And by default, Scoop has a lot of built-in pluggable connector for the popular RDBMS such as MySQL, Oracle, or even Microsoft SQL. And plus, on top of that, it gives you an extension application programming interface. What that means is that if you are a developer, you can write your own connectors, custom connectors to connect to the databases which are not supported by Scoop. So the basic import or export into an RDBMS works through the connectivity through this connector. By default, Scoop comes with many built-in connectors to support nearly all popular databases and data warehousing. So what exactly does Scoop gives you? Well, it gives you this pluggable connector mechanism so that you can seamlessly transfer data between popular RDBMS solutions and Hadoop. And it is really easy to import or export data from structured data store. Now, when you say structured data store, then there is a lot of structured data stores. So commonly we call them as RDBMS. However, the good news is that Scoop even allows connectivity with data warehousing systems and even NoSQL systems. So it is not a tool which just allows your RDBMS to talk to Hadoop. Rather than it gives you a plethora of opportunities to transfer data between databases, data warehousing solutions, NoSQL databases, and even Hadoop. Now, Scoop also can be used to copy data from RDBMS and insert into a Hive table. Now, that is a very interesting feature because in the last module, we have learned that Hive is the default data warehousing system inside Hadoop, and Hive is so popular that many organizations use it in day-to-day data analytics. So in Hive, you can create tables and insert data, and the good news is that Scoop can be used to directly transfer data between an RDBMS and Hive without even touching the HDFS. However, we understand that ultimately Hive stores the data in HDFS, but you can directly transfer the data between an RDBMS and Hive. Scoop also integrates with Oozie. Now, Oozie is the Apache Hadoop ecosystem work scheduler. We will have a separate module on Oozie, but for the time being, just understand that Oozie is a workflow scheduler. So imagine that you are connecting an RDBMS to Hadoop using Scoop, and the RDBMS gets new entries every day, day by day. So what happens every day, there are new changes in the RDBMS and you want to pull that into Hadoop. What you can do is that you can employ this tool called Oozie, which is basically a workflow scheduler, and you can write a workflow job. For example, you can say that every day at midnight 12, start the Scoop process and copy whatever is there in table A to Hadoop. So by midnight, the table A will have all the changes that were made in the day, and every day this will happen, meaning every day at midnight, this table will be copied into Hadoop. Now, Scoop uses a connector-based architecture, and we are aware of that. Now, Another interesting feature about Scoop is that it allows us to import either the complete database or one table or selected tables or even selected columns or rows from a table. So it gives us this granular access on the data we are importing. So either you can have the entire database to be imported or even a particular column or couple of rows selectively imported using query. Now, like we learned, Scoop provides Hadoop with import-export capabilities, and it has a built-in connector. I mean, it has a lot of built-in connectors. Now, this supports the Java Database Connectivity or JDBC Application Programming Interface Suite. The good news is that all major RDBMS and data warehousing vendors provides JDBC compliant drivers. So we have the popular vendors such as MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL, DB2, Netezza, Teradata. All these vendors are having JDBC compliant connector, which means this can be simply used to connect them using Scoop. Now Scoop has almost all popular JDBC connectors for this popular RDBMS solution, and it also have a custom API or an application programming interface which allows the developers to write their own custom connectors if they want. And we have a lot of third-party connectors that are available for other systems such as NoSQL data stores such as Couchbase from Cloudera. So what happens is that if you look at the NoSQL landscape that we have right now, there are many NoSQL databases around the globe. Now writing a connector for everyone and bundling them with Scoop will not be effective. So you can actually get the third-party connectors to connect the Scoop to the NoSQL of your choice. So let's learn how Scoop import works. So when you do an import with Scoop, the first step is that it uses the connector to retrieve the metadata of the table from RDBMS. So first Scoop connects to the particular RDBMS using the connector and it retrieves the metadata of the table. Now Scoop uses this metadata to generate and compile a Java class, and that will be used further to produce the map tasks to do the actual import. Now, if you have very small amount of data, then you can say that I just need only one map task. But if you have a really large RDBMS table, you can even mention that you want 3, 5, or 10 mappers to run to import it. Scoop saves the generated Java class to a temporary space or to a specified directory so that you can leverage it for subsequent processing. Now Scoop actually divides the records and then assigns a map task to individually import the entries of the table. So if you look at the diagram, the first step is that the Scoop client will connect to the particular RDBMS. So here we are looking at a table called products table and it will retrieve the metadata. In the next step, it will generate the Java class for the products, and then it will divide the entire entry to be imported and generate appropriate map jobs to import the same. For example, here you can see that there is a map job to import rows 1 to 10, another one for 11 to 10, and another one as it goes on. Scoop imports data from RDBMS and stores them in HDFS using the following file format. Now there are three major file formats that Scoop uses. One is called the binary Avro data. Now this is based on the Apache's own serialization framework. This is useful if we need to interact with other applications after the data is imported to HDFS. Now you can also mention the binary sequence file or delimited text files. Now when you use the delimited text file, you use it typically when you want to parse and perform data format conversion. By default, these files contain comma delimited fields with new lines separating different records. User can override the format in which data is copied over by explicitly specifying the field separated. So by default, when Scoop imports the data, it assumes that you have comma as delimiter and new line character. If you want to override this, just tell Scoop to store it in the delimiter text file format, and you can mention that. So here we can have a quick look at the scoop import command. So the generic syntax for the same is scoop import connect JDBC MySQL localhost /db username foo table test. So here scoop is the command and import. Scoop is the keyword and import is the command as we are importing it, and connect is used to connect to the RDBMS system, and you can see the path JDBC MySQL localhost DB. Then username and password are the credentials to be used to access the database, and you can mention the individual table as well. If you want, you can actually add an additional query keyword which will specify the result of a SQL query. So we will see this in the practical demonstration. So to wrap up, in this particular lesson, we have learned how scoop work, the connectors and drivers, and how the scoop import is exactly working. That's all for this lesson.